Hi, welcome back to Study on Spotlight. And today we have Terry from Bodwell High School from Canada.
Oh, wow. Round of applause.
Hello, Terry. Hello. Such a long time I haven't seen you again. So today we're going to talk about Bodwell School.
Okay.
Yeah. So tell me about something. Where is it? And what is offered to our international student or Hong Kong student?
Okay. Well, let's begin with where is it? There's a lot to unpack in that one question. But let's begin. Where is it? Bodwell High School is in North Vancouver, and North Vancouver is on what we call the North Shore, which is just across the water from downtown Vancouver. It's kind of at the foot of the mountains, on the water, right across from downtown. There truly is no more spectacular a location, and I mean that not just, Bodwell's location. I'm talking about North Vancouver. I myself even live there for a good part of the year because it's that beautiful. I can attest to how beautiful that part of the world is by I have a condo there myself. So that's where it is. Now, what is Bodwell? Bodwell is a high school, of course, Bodwell High School. If I really pick three things that we can maybe talk on or focus on today about Bodwell, we are a boarding school. We are a university preparation school, and we are a school that specializes, I think, in helping international students get to the university of their choice.
Great. So international schools, the youngest age that they can join Bodwell is actually they're 8. So at the age of 12?
13, yeah.
Yeah. And then all the way to year 12.
You got it.
Right. So maybe talk about a bit the curriculum, because Bodwell, apart from the local BC Dogwood diploma, what else do you offer, and why the school decided to offer to international students?
Okay, this is good. We have a unique mix of curriculums. And you're right, there are some reasons. There's some specific reasons why we do that. So we do offer, of course, the BC curriculum, which is the high school diploma, Dogwood diploma, as you mentioned. There's a certain, requirements that go along with that. But we supplement that curriculum at the senior high school level with advanced placement courses, AP programs. We have 9 on offer, I think, every semester. Some of them change. We're always adding. We're always looking for ways to give students an edge. Part of that includes our own honors cohort programs, where we're actually combining a lot of courses together. So I know, for example, a physics cohort might have AP physics, grade 12 physics, and grade 11 physics all put into one course so that students can do it in an efficient amount of time. So that's a senior high school. Now for the lower grades, grade 8, 9, and 10, we actually have the IB program, MYP, years 3, 4, and 5. And we have that because we like to set our younger students up with a strong foundation going into their university preparation years. Now, there's a couple of questions that you may have, and I'm just going to do your job for you and ask those questions. So first of all, why not the IB diploma for grade 11 and 12? And the first answer to that might be because we do have rolling admissions, and we accept students at all levels. And a student who comes to us starting in grade 12 or starting in grade 11, the IB diploma program.
It's a 2-year linear course.
Yeah, it's a 2-year linear course, but it's also a tough place for a high school student to start the IB program. If they have not been doing IB sort of, before that, it's going to be tough for them to start at the IBDP level. The other question you might say, okay, well, we have IB program 8, 9, and 10, or grades 8, 9, and 10, but we also have high school, which is 10, 11, and 12. So what happens in grade 10? Well, our students actually have a choice. They can do the IB grade 10 or MYP 5, or they can do the BC curriculum grade 10. There's a lot of kind of crossover between the two programs anyway. They're both kind of student-centered. They're both with global perspective, this sort of thing. There's a lot of crossover already.
So you touch on about the flexibility that allows international students to join in year 12 with we got without the IB curriculum diploma program. But so if student comes in like in year 11 or year 12, haven't have that experience in the Canadian education system, how should they decide what to take between the doctorate diploma or the AP, or if they come a bit earlier or in year 10, how should they decide and what's best?
So this is probably the best question you're going to ask today. And why? Because this is the best answer that I have. The answer to that is, and for any parents that are not sure about this, even for any of you here at DADI that are not sure about any of this, and I'm sure you could probably tell me the same answer. Every single student comes to us with a different situation, a case-by-case situation. So for me to give one answer is impossible because every student has a different background, every student has a different future, every student has different talents, every student has different weaknesses. This is probably why I think we are one of the premier university preparation schools in Canada, because A, we recognize that. B, we have 10 academic counselors at our school that work with our students for these very reasons. And we offer students basically every choice, so many different paths set in front of them. We call it our personal pathway, that every student that comes to Bodwell is going to have a different schedule. They're going to have different classes. They're going to take different co-curricular classes after school. They're going to have different interest clubs. They're going to have different focuses for university. They're going to talk to different university reps. They're going to, this goes on and on and on and on. And we have to recognize that every student's different. So navigating through all this is not as easy as me just giving you one answer. The answer is that's why you choose a school like Bodwell, because our counselors will be working with the students all along the way, because there's choices to be made before you go to Bodwell, sure, but there's also choices to be made throughout the high school process. And without that guidance, some students, we won't say they make mistakes or anything, but some students can become
the lost.
A little bit lost because there's
yeah.
just a lot to take in.
Teenagers, they don't know what they want to do, or sometimes they want to do. Everyone want to go into medicine, but is it everyone suit this path? Yeah.
And not only want to go into medicine, but if I do go into medicine, what do I need to do? Because it's different for different countries, even to provinces, and different university requirements. And I mean, there is a lot to navigate.
And
so
also the options available in Canada, because in Hong Kong, student may be restricted within DSE curriculum, the subjects that offer. But when you change in our country, maybe there's something else that you have never heard before.
Yeah.
And that's could be an option, or could be you find your interest in it.
Absolutely. I mean, that even takes us into another realm of what Bodwell offers. And I know it's part of our Canadian ethos as well to give students options, but really helping students with career exploration as well, and taking advantage of their interests and what they're good at and their natural talent and all these sorts of things. So you really, if you're a parent choosing a school, I think that's what you want to focus on more so than what is the curriculum of the school. What is it? Because there's lots of good schools. I'll be honest. There's lots of caring teachers, and but you need a school that's going to give the most opportunity, that's going to guide the most, and is going to help your child naturally take advantage of what they're strong at, what their interests are, and what their future holds.
Well, so we go back to you mentioned about the location in North Vancouver, and then what about the curriculum? Anything special if the students studying in Canada? Anything that offer in Bodwell, or anything that
So yeah, right. Apart from the curriculums that we offer that I kind of mentioned, so the difference, and maybe this is what you're getting at, the real difference between, let's say, going to school in Hong Kong and coming to school in Canada. And I can speak intimately on this. Why? I myself, I was a student in Taiwan. I went to university, I did my master's in Taiwan. So I kind
So
of
you were an international student.
I was an international student myself over here, kind of going the other way, right?
Yeah.
So I do have probably a unique perspective on the difference between the curriculums, let's say in North America and in Hong Kong,
Asia,
Taiwan,
Chinese,
Asia.
yeah.
These ideas. Both ways of studying and teaching and curriculum are valid in different ways. But the biggest difference is that in North America, a student will be expected to take on the responsibility themselves, the learning responsibility themselves. What does that mean? That means if a student doesn't ask questions, they're not going to get the answers. Nobody's going to give the answers if the students are not asking the questions. This is why we call it inquiry-based learning or student-centered learning, because the learning starts with the student. Now, in Taiwan, and I can only assume Hong Kong is quite similar, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little more of needing to memorize, needing to understand what the teacher's saying, listening to the teacher. The teacher is, I'm not going to say more respected in this part of the world, but they're more the center of the classroom and their knowledge and what they can impart to the student. And
you just sit back in the class.
Yeah, you sit back in the class. Yeah, no,
and memorize and jotting the notes.
And both are valid.
Yeah.
There are advantages and disadvantages to both styles. There's no question. But when you make the change, when you go to Canada, what you're investing in is you're investing in your child beginning that critical thinking process, that process of, hey, the teacher's not talking about this, or I don't understand this, therefore I need to ask, therefore I need to initiate the learning. So this is a big difference. You know, it's like homework. You go to Canada and you don't do your homework in Canada. I mean, I'm not going to say the teacher doesn't care, but the teacher's not going to pester people who don't want to do their homework. You know, if you don't want to do your homework, that's fine. The teacher's not going to spend their time trying to convince you to do their homework. This, you know, again, the learning needs to be initiated with the student, which is also different in well, at least it was in Taiwan. You know, going to university, if half the class didn't do the homework, the teacher sat there and made you do it in class in front of her. You know what I mean? Well, this
In university.
yeah, sort of. I mean, not, you know, you didn't.
Okay.
But it is the cultural difference because in Hong Kong, in an Asian country, like the teachers is the authority. It's kind of like students kind of scared and like
Scared to speak out, scared to disagree, scared to.
Even asking question is so afraid to make the mistake.
I think we are so used to listen, just listen and absorb what the teacher say. We don't think. Maybe more like a machine.
Well, no,
like, I won't say machine, but
I
like
realize
more like
what
a
you're
spoon
saying.
feed. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, we're so used to spoon feed
Yeah,
the
but if
student.
they feed not enough or maybe not the wrong thing, but you won't challenge or maybe a lot speaker able to speak up.
I mean,
afraid to
obviously,
that.
I think the best system is a combination of both.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately
It's
you
always
can't
two
you can't
directions.
simply have students leading all classes, right? But at the same,
Yeah, let's go out and learn. And we've learned at night.
Piece of guitar.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
still need some discipline and
Exactly.
schedule of learning, but
Exactly.
you need to explore like your brain. You need to start to think yourself. I think that's why like the parents want their child to study abroad. Like you have to get out of the box.
Yeah, there's no question you have to get out of the box. And I think what's important for a school to do, and again, I'll use Bodwell as the example. I think what we try to do more than any other school is you can't force anybody to learn. You can't do these.
You have to learn from your heart, bottom of your heart.
Yeah, exactly.
But how?
But what you can do,
How?
how do you do that?
No,
Exactly.
How you motivate like a
Exactly. So how do you do that is the question,
Not
and the question
because
and the question is answered by providing opportunity, and that is the answer. right? You can't make anybody do anything, but what you can do is you can give them a world of opportunities, and that's what we do. We have opportunities for accelerated learning through, with extra credits or the honors programs I've talked about. We have opportunity through our after-school program, which is, we call it our co-curricular learning, which involves all sorts of co-curricular learning. You can have opportunity for community and volunteer experience, which we have. You can offer opportunities through Saturday morning classes, which are kind of like career exploration classes
You have
for us.
Saturday
That's
class.
right. That's right.
It's optional, right?
No. We have professionals come from the outside who come in to talk about their careers and to kind of guide classes in their careers. We have a doctor who comes in, or at one point, and talked about intro to med school. What do students need to do to get into medical school? Things like this. So you can't force students to do anything, but you can provide all of these learning opportunities for them. And then eventually, once they find their interest, once they find their path, it inspires them, and that's what motivates them. Once they see the goal being realized, this is what creates the motivation.
This is my path, and I want to do it.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
especially being in like teenagers, like at the age where you trying to explore yourself as well at the same time exploring your future path, like career path or even just study path. It is really important to have that kind of like resources, I should say.
Yeah, well,
That-
this kind
The
of
broaden your horizon and
this actually even broadens the scope of what we're talking about, because we're a boarding school, that means the kids are here 24 hours a day. It's not a go to school, learn, have these opportunities, and then pack it up and go home. These students are here 24 hours a day. So the extra challenge for Bodwell High School is to present these learning opportunities their whole waking hours, so that they're productive with their time. Then they're not just, on their cell phone, or they're doing these sorts of things. There's time and a place for all of that. I mean, let's not mistake that either. But at the same time, there's all of these extra challenges at a boarding school where students are moving through relationships, not just with teachers and
Friendships.
but friendships, but all kinds of relationships.
Yep.
They're dealing with learning about independence on their own, or dealing with communication and interaction, and working together with people. They're dealing with becoming leaders in their own right, because they've got this time and they're trying to move forward to some certain goals. So they need to consider all of these sorts of things, and Bodwell is responsible for providing all of those opportunities to be productive in all of those areas.
especially in a boarding, like with such a busy time schedule, like in school and then after school activities and all this curriculum, as well as managing your study as well. Maybe you're taking up like a leadership role in the boarding house or in the community. That actually is, I just say being in boarding school, because I went to a boarding school as well.
Oh,
It
you
is.
did?
Yeah. I did.
So you can speak from experience.
UK,
Yeah, I did. Like, it is really, I should say in my lifetime, I never regret going to a boarding school. Even there's some of my friends would say, it's like going to like a jail, like being trapped in a place, which I really disagree to a certain, because it is in that environment, what you said, you need to handle relationships. You need to deal with to teachers, with a friendship, as well as managing your work and also exploring yourself. And really, it's the time to get to know yourself and preparing for the adulthood in a way. Because once you go into uni, no one's gonna tell you what to do, when to go where, and all this kind of thing. It's kind of like really the life skills that is preparing for the later on in life.
Yeah, the life skills. That's the word to use. You're right. We have an entire life skills program needs to be in place for these students to make best use of their time, and not just best use of their time, but also grow, develop, and use it as an advantage.
Like they need to understand themselves in order to make the decision, rather than someone telling you you need to do this, you need to study that. But it's back to the point, is having that opportunity to find something you're passionate in, and then you follow your path and do the things that you want to carry on with it.
Yeah.
So
I can tell you went to a UK boarding school. You've got a posh accent when you speak.
Not really, because some of my friends told me I have a mix of British and American accent for some reason.
Oh,
I'm
really?
Like,
Well,
yeah,
you've
but
got
I've
the
never
posh.
been to the America or the North American.
Oh, you've never been there? Okay.
No, so I don't know where did I pick up the accent. but probably because the nationalities, that a wide range of nationalities as friends coming from different backgrounds. So when we communicate and when we chat, we kind of pick up that as well.
Yeah.
So how many nationalities are in Bodwell and students of which
So we
countries are they?
have, again, it's a little bit unique for a lot of boarding schools. We have almost an entirely international population, and our students can come from, in any given year, 40 or more different countries. Students
40?
from 40 or more from all over the world. It is a diverse student body. It is, unlike some boarding schools, it's not dominated by one culture, be it a local culture or be it another international country's culture. It's not dominated by any one culture. We have, a very, very kind of equal amount of students across the board. It's very interesting. And when you're in a all international community, there's a lot of advantages for this. Now, what do I mean by advantages? I know very well, working in this business, that a lot of times the first thing parents say, well, we want to study with Canadians. We want to be, we want to be with Canadians in the school system there. And, they're going to learn English faster and this sort of thing. And I might disagree with that. I might tell you that that first of all, first and foremost, we'll say Canada is a very multicultural country. So it doesn't matter where you're in Canada, you are in a classroom with people from all over the world. It doesn't matter what school you're going to. It doesn't matter which small community you're in. You know what I mean? There are going to be international families that have settled there. Canada is a country of migrants, of immigrants. That's what we were built and founded on, and how our economies have thrived. So that's first and foremost. But second of all, when you're in an all international community and you are an international student coming to that school, you instantly fit into a community of students with similar backgrounds and similar focus and similar future, which is, in our case, all of our students are university bound. That's not necessarily the case in a Canadian public school environment. Students, do different things. Not everybody chooses university in Canada. So that's one. You're coming with similar students. You've got similar backgrounds. The other thing is that because a lot of our students are new to Canada, again, you're not going and trying to fit into a circle of friends in the Canadian public system, let's say, that have been friends for 12 years, or, their families are friends. Their family, they all live together very closely. You are actually going with new students who all want to make friends, who have similar backgrounds in terms of being new to Canada, and are all, moving towards university and maybe a little bit more of an academic focus, this sort of thing. So again, like-minded students, a lot easier to make friends and connections and network in this way.
It is, especially when you go to another country with like completely different cultural experience. Having someone not necessarily the same nationality, but like maybe going to another, they kind of go through the experience. They understand what it is to leave home without parents, study in a foreign country, maybe the language barrier between. And it is so important to have that kind of support and the peer support from that.
100%, especially in the teenage years. Now, if you were moving to Canada and you were new and you were at the postgraduate level and you're an adult and you're already sort of comfortable with yourself and you're
we choose
comfortable.
Vancouver.
Well, that's good to know.
I would choose Vancouver.
That's good to know.
Why? I will tell you, because you can go out with your friend to say, oh, let's go to have Korean barbecue.
No, well, yeah.
Yeah. Or go to 飲茶.
You've got all sorts
Yeah,
of options that way. No
the
question
list,
about that.
yeah.
So, well, this is the thing, right? So, as an adult, you don't have those sort of difficulties. But as a teenager's different. You know, a teenager, you can't just, have a teenager roaming around downtown whenever they want. You can't have teenagers.
Yeah.
It's just different. They're in a developing stage in their life that you're right. Having some people going through the similar experiences, a little bit of a transition period of a couple of years in a Canadian international high school where they're still out in the community and they're still making Canadian friends and they're still interacting in Canada all the same, and all the teachers are Canadian. It's just a little bit of a buffer period. Have you been to Vancouver, Cora?
No, never.
No, not do
You just told me you would choose Vancouver. You've had a lot of opportunity in your life to choose Vancouver, yet you haven't.
Yeah.
Where did you go to university? Or
Queensland, Australia.
yeah, okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, you had lots of opportunity to choose Vancouver.
Well, not too late. You can
Because
do a
I
master
want,
degree.
yeah, I want to try the snowboarding or kayaking.
Yeah.
The greatest country in the world
Exactly.
for snowboarding is Canada.
Yeah, all in one place in Vancouver.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. In fact, ski hills just like 15, 20 minutes from the school. But Queensland's beautiful as well. But
Yes,
yeah.
But there's
yeah.
no skiing. I don't like surfing, but I just much prefer skiing.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, Vancouver is where you go to ski. Whistler's
Or
about an
just
hour and
walk
a half
along
away.
the park, yeah.
Walking in the park, of course.
The
Yeah, it's beautiful.
downtown.
It's beautiful.
All the convenience, yeah.
It is an unbelievable city, no
Yeah,
question.
and the weather, the weather is
it's
much
cold,
warmer
like
than
really, really cold.
Toronto.
You're right. So
Another popular
Vancouver,
place.
generally speaking, doesn't snow. It's a bit of an anomaly in Canada.
Okay.
Generally speaking, it doesn't snow. There'll be a couple of days a
Sorry,
year.
I don't want to ask stupid question, but is it the warmest city in Canada?
It must be. Yeah, it has the coastal
Yeah.
warmth. Victoria, Vancouver, this area.
Yeah, and the mountain shield.
So you won't go
That's it.
minus 40 degrees
No,
in
no,
winter?
No,
Sorry,
not
never
in
been to
Vancouver.
Canada.
Not
so
in
I think-
Vancouver. No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It rarely would go below zero in Vancouver. Very
Okay.
rarely. It does, but it's of all the cities,
So
it's definitely the
it's
warmest.
more similar to weather in Asia.
It is. It's actually quite similar to Taipei. Maybe a little bit colder than Taipei.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit colder
so
than
not
Taipei in
too
the winter.
dry, humid.
Well, it's not too humid. It rains a lot. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I heard it
In the
rains a
winter,
lot.
just like Taipei does.
Yeah.
But
Like-
it never really gets too cold. Taipei can get chilly as well. It can get down to 5, 6, 7 degrees, and so can Vancouver. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, quite similar.
Cool. So we need to book a ticket to fly to Vancouver one day.
Yeah.
Of course, you're welcome anytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're about time today. So before we wrap up, so is any suggestion if a student going to Canada or Bodwell? Any suggestion to the student?
I think when you are plotting your education, okay, I think that no matter what, whether you choose Canada, whether you choose Australia or UK, but no,
New Zealand.
no matter where New Zealand, yeah, that's right. No matter where you choose, I think your education these days needs to include an international component. Probably also a local component, local to where you are. I think this is also important, but I think an international component is invaluable these days. Especially moving forward, we can use lots of terms like global outlook or international student or global citizen.
Yeah,
I
global
mean,
citizen.
there's a reason why we're using these terms, because they are an advantage when a student becomes a career-focused individual, and these experiences are probably a lot more valuable than we realize at the time. So the very first thing I'm going to say is that it needs to, no matter where you're going, no matter whether you're in Canada, like me, going to Taiwan for an international experience or an international component to your education, I think these days is mandatory. I think. If you really want to get ahead. So that's the very first thing I'll say. And then the second thing I'll say, let's talk about choosing Canada. You're choosing Canada because it is a diverse, multicultural country. It is a tolerant country. It is a country that is progressive. It is a country that is focused on the well-being of its people, its immigrants, its locals, its everybody. This is why you choose Canada, not to mention its natural beauty and these sorts of things. And then third, to go from international to Canada to Bodwell, you're choosing Bodwell because you want a focus on the future. You want to focus on university. You want to focus on whatever it is you want to study after high school, be it STEM through our STEM Academy, be it new media through our Media Academy, whatever it is that you want to study, we really spend a lot of time getting a student to that point. That's the whole reason you would come to a boarding school, to a university preparation school, is because of if I can put it in these terms, that is the service that we are providing to our students and to our parents, that there's more focus, there's more attention, there's more guidance. So from international to Canada to Bodwell, that's what I think parents need to be concerned with.
Sure, that's the main free takeaway from today's podcast. So thank you so much, Terry, for coming to us
Terry.
today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.